The great artist Pablo Picasso once said, "Everything you can imagine is real." And in our modern world, thinking outside the box and using our imagination often helps us solve problems and navigate the hurdles that life puts in front of us. This is a skill that is very often honed and developed early on when we are children, whether it is by playing or by socializing with friends and family. From January the 26th to February the 4th, the Manitoba Theatre for Young People, in collaboration with Brush Theatre, is putting on a production that encourages young audiences to use their imagination to create and explore new worlds and use their inherent inventiveness to solve problems. Poli Pop is a truly magical stage production created by Brush Theatre for children. This is the second production that Brush Theatre has done with MTYP, coming off their hugely successful and very entertaining show called Doodle Pop. And here to tell us more about Poli Pop, this show, I am joined by Sarah Flynn, who is an artistic associate with MTYP. Welcome to our Classic 107 studio, Sarah.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
So I first thought I want to start out by asking about the Brush Theatre Troupe. They're a really unique theatre company. Can you talk about them a bit?
Yeah, so Brush Theatre is from South Korea. They're from Seoul. And so all of their work is created there. And then we are fortunate enough to be able to bring them here to Manitoba to have the North American premiere of this show, Poli Pop.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, the show is in English, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Translated to English for our audiences.
This is the second show that MTYP has done with Brush. Can you talk a little bit about what makes them so distinctive as a company, drawing on your experiences seeing Doodle Pop and now with this new production, Poli Pop?
They make theater for young audiences different in South Korea. It's just the way they engage with the content and with the audiences is just a little different. It's a little special, and you really see those artistic choices that are cultural for them come through in this. So it's getting to see sort of TYA, but for Korean kids versus what's being made in Canada. So.
Yeah. Can you give us a brief overview of the show? Two of the main characters are siblings, Poli and Pola. It's my understanding that they don't want to go to sleep. And where does the plot line go from there?
So yes, Poli and Pola do not want to go to bed, as I'm sure most kids and adults have experienced and remember from when they were little. So their grandpa is, trying to get them to bed, and so he tells them a story about a hairy fairy that will come and get them if they don't go to bed. And then that starts swirling those imaginations, and from there they just go on this fantastical adventure that they create for themselves together in search of this fairy, but also in running from it, and also trying to find each other, and also just like in outer space, and it kind of goes wild.
Yeah. I was reading, it explores various landscapes. You talked about it, outer space, but also like the desert and jungle as well.
Yep, they end up at sea for a while too. They go anywhere you could imagine you could go. They're happy to go there.
It sounds like it's fantastic. And there's also elements of dancing and singing to help sort of move the story along and help keep audiences engaged, right?
There's a ton of dancing and kind of partying almost. It's like they're just having a big bash. So there's there's a couple of musicians on stage. There's a piano and a drum kit. And then the drummer also has various other sound effect tools at her disposal. And they sort of underscore the entire show. And then there's some parts where it's more prevalent and there's bigger dance breaks and they're playing the kazoos that are also these weird shaped saxophones, and they're running around and yelling and just having a good time.
The show also makes use of some pretty innovative techniques. Can you talk about the role that the musicians play on stage, not only in creating music for the show, but also creating sound effects and moods for the scenes?
Yeah, so they're super involved in it, in the way that none of the music is pre-recorded. So every sound you hear is happening when they hit the button or when they smack the cowbell to accent whatever is happening on stage, as well as the projection is all being controlled by the animator sitting on the table, also lining it up perfectly with what the actors are doing on stage. So it all works together in this beautiful way of perfectly timed magic.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw a little bit of the trailer. Oh, I saw the trailer, and there's projection. It plays a big role in this, right?
It's a huge part of the show, yeah. So there's this incredible hand-drawn aesthetic to these projections that are projected over this house full of tricks. It's a house full of tricks. Because the projection adds to those things and, highlights specific areas and shows, various images of where they're going and what they're doing. And as well as this magic fairy that kind of comes and peeks out from different places and becomes a bunch of rolling balls and then is this giant head appearing and all sorts of things. So, yeah, and it's all done on stage live for you, and you can see them all interacting and working together to make it happen.
And I was reading somewhere, I think it's the projectionist possibly who also is like doing some voice acting for the show as well.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. So the fairy, Mong is the fairy's name. Mong also talks. And so this person that's sitting to the side and he's doing the projection, he's also the voice of Mong. And so Mong speaks and is like, Mong, and is like coming to get them and the whole time. And he's right there watching and interacting with them, with the kids.
Amazing. As I was saying earlier, I saw the trailer. One of the things that really struck me, aside from the creative use of projection, was that the landscapes and backdrops have this sort of hand-drawn aesthetic to them. And it totally works and is very, very engaging. Why do you think audiences relate to this so well?
Well, it all feels so doable for a kid. I mean, if they can draw that, I can draw my world. I can draw whatever world I want to adventure to, whether that's the jungle or the space or at sea or wherever you want to go. You have the imagination and the ability to create these worlds just like they do.
Mm-hmm. When I saw the trailer, one of the things that it for some reason reminded me of, and you're probably too young to remember this show. It used to be a show called Mr. Dress Up.
I remember Mr. Dress Up. I'm not that young.
and it sort of has that same sort of encouraging children to sort of imagine, and with the drawings and the rest of it has that sort of same kind of engagement to it as well. Would you?
Yeah, that's really something that Brush Theater focuses on. They are all about reigniting their own imaginations and helping to develop and grow the imaginations of the young people, as well as, reminding adults that they can have that imagination, that play too, and create so much joy.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you hope audiences are going to take away from the show, Poli Pop? It's advertised for children 3 to 8, but I'm sure parents can get something out of it as well, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, all of our programming is, we specify an age group that it's meant for, but that doesn't mean that only those ages will enjoy it. I mean, you could bring a teenager to this and they would enjoy it too. It's just so fun and exciting and breathtaking as well. So really, it's for anyone.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Most theater for young audiences is. It's really for anyone, but it's for your inner child rather than maybe who you are on the outside.
Yeah, and I have to confess, after I saw the trailer, I saw it on YouTube, and one of the things that YouTube does is sort of the next video sort of relates to the video that you've just saw. Let's just say I took a deep dive into vintage Sesame Street, and I spent a good 20 minutes enjoying it. It's that same sort of, there's the humor for children, but there's also the humor for adults, right? There's these two layers.
You just appreciate different parts of it, and you get different things out of it, which all great theater does. Is it's always about who you are and what you get from it.
Mm-hmm. The show, Poli Pop, sounds like it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Where can people go to find out more details about tickets and times for the shows?
Everything's on our website, MTYP.ca. You can just click on the show, Poli Pop, and you'll see all the times and everything. You can also always call us, and our box office can help, or just come on down to Two Forks Market Road, and we'll get you set up.
And the show starts today on the 26th,
Yeah,
right?
We have our first public show tonight at 7 p.m.
And then it goes until the 4th of February, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, once again, this has been so much fun having you here in studio. You are welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you.
To talk about the shows at MTYP. I'm sure Poli Pop is going to be another big hit. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and
Thanks
talk to me
for
about it
having
today.
me here.